Are you there?
Yes, sir. Transit Sports TV back again this week. Sorry guys, we were supposed to have this stream yesterday, but I mean it was a holiday, labor holiday. I was out there playing soccer with my man Uguma and Mimi, who is back to the studio today. And yes, we are back to doing what we know how to do best. And the house is full. Choma is back. Mimi is back. Ugum, as usual, is here. And
Yes, truly.
we're here, man like Ify, obviously, you know how he does his thing. I know he can't wait. He can't wait for Woman Night today, but we have Choma to contend with man like Ify. So, guys, you are welcome back to the show. Unmute yourselves.
It's wonderful to be here. Hey guys, Nimi, man like Ify, Shelma, let's do it.
Boom.
Yes, yes, let's get
Yeah,
quick into it. First game of the weekend was Chelsea versus Fulham. Chelsea somehow, many think Fulham should have got something from that game, but it
Man,
was
I say so.
2-0. Ify,
Uh,
Mimi, what was your take from that game?
I go first.
Yes, sir, go ahead.
You're funny. You said my man says somehow. What game did you watch? Like, okay, so aside aside the controversy, but I've always told you I don't rate VAR. I don't care about it. I don't want it. I wish it's a £1 billion waste. Yeah. A lot of things upset me with VAR. Yeah. The first part is it takes forever for them to like make a decision. The second part is when the refs see it, they automatically, correct me if I'm wrong, I've not seen one time where
They go back there and
they
stay and stand
they
by the decision.
yes sir. I've not seen it. It may have happened, but I've not seen it. And I swear, like that thing upsets me. Like it's so annoying. Like that was a good goal. I'm not even going to lie. I didn't see anything wrong with that thing. That was a good goal. When my man done the pivot, his leg had to stay somewhere. So I don't understand what they saw and how they called that a foul. That was first things first. That was a goal. But obviously, as a true fan, we think we'll be grateful for VAR because VAR did what allegedly VAR is supposed to do and overturn that decision. And obviously, we went on to decimate, annihilate, eviscerate um, Fulham. Do you see what I'm saying? And it was a good game. My man showed grit and tenacity. João Pedro, he's been our boy wonder. Unfortunately, Delap is out for a couple of weeks. Palmer is still out. We might be suffering a few injuries, but it was a good game. It was a London derby. It had to happen. You know, I'm excited. Chelsea came out on top. There's an international break, and when we get back, we regroup and we refocus and we go again. Yeah, that's it, really.
Nimi, let me ask you a question. From a Chelsea perspective, is Delap an upgrade on Jackson?
Well, Reggie, thanks for having me. I'm back after maybe 1 year of some good vacation to go enjoy the World Championship, and I was able to bring that championship to the game yesterday. The
Nimi,
show
sorry,
was
please hold on 1 second, 1 second. It has been officially agreed on this channel that that was a preseason. That please, can you
Man,
focus on?
I don't know about preseason, but when I brought that trophy and Reggie saw me, you saw me, Osborne, you saw me, I was playing like a world champion yesterday. So that's that. That's that thing. And Chioma, welcome. It's great to see you again. And I'll just go ahead and get started. In terms of the question that you asked, first of all, congratulations to Chelsea. Getting that win. I understand what My co-Chelsea fan in here is saying, but with VAR it's 50-50. There's sometimes it goes against you, and there's sometimes that it favors you. There are so many good things about VAR, and there are things about VAR, as you stated, that should be looked into. I think we should try to look at VAR in certain time frames or certain the way we look at it should be focused on the kind of leagues that they play. For example, in the German league, you don't see this kind of time wasting. You see referees stand by their decisions. You go to and the World Cup, you saw how VAR was used. You go to some other league, even the Saudi Camel League that we watch, we see how VAR is being used. Less than 30 seconds. Even Africa, I don't know if any of you watched the what do you call it? The local African AFCON, the local AFCON that
Yeah.
was played. You saw how VAR was used there. Then when you come to EPL, there's a different standard. So maybe we're looking at just EPL, the way VAR is being used in EPL. Even in the Champions League, you've never seen VAR take more than 1 minute or 45. It's quick. The World Champ. So EPL has a different standard. And that's why the EPL, when they use VAR, people are really upset. But that we should not make this as entirely VAR is bad. As regards the game, good win. As Chelsea fans, we should be worried a kind of way. I don't know if it's fatigue. Enzo, the first half was a bore fest. I was really bored with the kind of game we were playing. We're hoping Palmer comes early, but it was a good win. Now, going to your question, is Delap an upgrade over Jackson?
Jackson.
I wouldn't come in here to say yes and no. And why would I not say that? Delap is a traditional number 9, the big, strong, physical number 9. He gives you that hold-up play, aerially good. He bullies his opponents. Jackson gives you another kind of game. He gives you Jackson. That's why I was kind of bemused that Enzo never wanted to use Jackson as a support striker from the wings to cut in, because I think Jackson would have, and that's what Bayern saw, and that's what they're going to use with Jackson. So to answer your question, Jackson and Delap are two kinds of players that I wouldn't say one is over. If I want to play traditional number 9, I'll put Delap in there any day, anytime. Let's cross that ball aerially. Let's bully them. Let's do that. If I want to play a formation where I need link-up play, quick passes, quick interjecting passes, and a striker that has the ability to create for others, I'll play Jackson in there. So there are two, kinds of strikers that you can.
Okay. Let me put the question to you this way. Then we'll move on to the next. Nimi. If you are to sign, if you as Chelsea fan, the way Chelsea is right now, you have Jackson, Delap, and Joao Pedro. Which two will you choose? Will you keep?
For me personally, Joao Pedro will be there for me. One. And I would, it may not be a popular decision, but I'll go with Jackson.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. Uguma and Choma, do you guys want to touch on that topic before? Ugum, the person I want to ask you, Ugum, actually is on Alex Iwobi. He's a player I've been personally impressed with lately, and the way in fact, it looks like everything runs through him in Fulham right now. So far, this is the 3 games in Fulham I've played. I don't think one of the game, I think he was actually man of the match in that game. I don't know. What did you make of his performance in this game? And Marco Silva as well, their coach, the way he sets up that team.
Yeah, Iwobi has been thoroughly impressive. For me, last year he was the player of the season for Fulham. I think they ended up giving it to was it Tom Kearney, who was a local.
I think it was Bassi. The fans voted Bassi.
No,
Bassi was player of the season.
Yeah, it was Bassi.
For the fans or for the club? Well, I guess okay.
For the club, it was Bassi.
It was Bassi. Okay, yeah. So he's been very, very, very impressive. Before I get into that, Nimi, it's good to have you back. Like you said yesterday, I saw 100% pass rate from Nimi. I said I'll mention it here on Transit. Okay. No food. He didn't put any food wrong. Nice one. Yeah.
I appreciate that. That's how we roll. That's how we roll. That's how we
roll. One word for man like Ify. If that goal had been allowed, yeah, if that goal against Chelsea had been allowed in the first half, it would have been a completely different game. It was a completely different game even up to that point. Chelsea couldn't put their foot on the ball. These guys really, Fulham were on. You know, I liken them to Crystal Palace right now in the form that they are in. Everybody knows their role. You could see when they enter the field, you see what's going on. You know that they've done their homework. And so Alex Iwobi again remains underrated. I will continue to blow the trumpet for that young man. He's been super consistent, super fit for the past 3-4 seasons, both in the EPL and for the Nigerian national team. He was terribly victimized at the last Nations Cup, held responsible for, a coach that played him in the wrong position, yet he put in his best. So, yeah, I couldn't say more about Alex. He's a player that I'll continue to, for any of even the top sides right now, if he gets into any of them, he will still improve the team because the way he plays, you can see he hardly puts a foot wrong, passing, movement, stamina, everything, he's there.
Yeah, let's touch to our viewers quickly before Choma, I get to you before we move to the next one. Firmino said the penalty Chelsea got was not supposed to stand because a Chelsea player first handled the ball and was overlooked, then a Fulham player, and it was given as a penalty. I saw that, but then John says Chelsea penalty was controversial that day. Good win to them anyway. Yeah, that's a sportsman right there for you. Firmino also says Chelsea is a top team and doesn't want a player that misses chances, a player that can link on play and still score easy goals, unlike Jackson, who can't do that. If you are not, you want to touch on that before we move on. But Choma, I don't know if you watch that game. Your boy, you will be like Ugo mentioned. I'm going to ask you specifically about Marco Silva, their coach, how he has set up Fulham and where they are right now as a team. I don't know. Do you think he's underrated?
No, it's not. It's not. If there's anything about Marco, I don't think you can't put underrated next to Marco now. We know he's like the guy you calling. He's a cavalry. If you need to arrange something, put it together, set things up seriously, he's the guy to call. I don't think, no, that team, even from last season, I think they gave people a run for their everything. I think the team was already getting together from last season for me. I don't know about 2 seasons ago, but from last season, I started seeing that, Fulham would be a team to contend with, because it used to be Crystal Palace in that place. It used to be Crystal Palace, when you talk about those teams that they are not like the first five, but they are a big deal. They understand the business. But it's so nice to actually see that Crystal Palace is coming back to, what they used to be. So I can liken Fulham to that very compact, great team. They know what they are doing. And for my man, it will be, of course, I always love him, whether he's in white, whatever color, green, anything. He's just who he is. There's none other like him. So that's all I have to say.
Okay, before we
But I
move
don't
on.
want to talk about I don't want to talk about Chelsea people, but
I know, because Nimi is here. Nimi, yes or no? Are Chelsea going to be title contenders this season? Nimi. Nimi, you're mute. I am mute. I think he's okay. So we
can
move
I
on
answer
to
for Nimi? Should I answer for Nimi until he comes back?
You see, they want to talk about.
Chelsea.
You see, they want to talk about
No,
Chelsea this season.
Chelsea, they are title contenders. Oh, you didn't know?
Okay.
You
That's
you're
what I
not
wanted.
aware?
That's what I wanted to hear. It's okay. That's fine.
No,
Let's move on.
Nah,
I want to.
keep sleeping. Keep sleeping on us,
Let's move on.
sister.
If you answered this last week, I want to ask another Chelsea fan. So let's move on. Manchester United 3, Burnley 2. This was another, will I say,
Sorry.
controversial. It was going the way United had been going this season, but somehow they come again, officiating VAR and all this coming, and United got their first win of the season. And this was really needed at Old Trafford because it was really looking bad both for Amorim, for the team, and the fans as well. Mbeumo did some good stuff. He had some chances, some attempts on goal, like he hasn't done, they haven't really had this season. And of course, Bruno as well did his thing one way or the other, but something is just not right at United right now. And I don't know, Chuma, let me start with you. Are you in the camp that Bruno, what's his name? Amorim hasn't really done anything wrong benching Sheshko up to this moment?
Please, I've sworn off. I've sworn off speaking about Manchester United because it feels like I always get the question whether I'm on the radio or I'm chilling with my friends. I don't know why he's keeping the guy on the bench. Decides to bring him at a particular time when he feels like, and every time he brings him is when, of course, hope is lost. I don't understand what he's trying to prove. I don't know why he keeps doing it. I'm tired of talking. It doesn't make sense because, I mean, we've seen other guys that have brought in their guys, okay? Even people when they don't even play preseason for their club, you know, they are actually trying to bring them into the setup and have them play for a couple of minutes. You know this boy is sharp. You know what you know why you bought this boy. You know what your problems are. You know what you need this boy to do, but you'd rather start with your clown formation. So at the end of the day, everybody, your fans will be frustrated, and then what are you bringing him in to do? What? What do you need him to do for you? So for me, I'm tired of talking about Manchester United. It's either we say the other time they said they had a midfield problem. The other time they said it was their defense. The other time they said it's their goalkeeper. Now they have Ote. I don't know who else that they are bringing. So what was their problem now? So me, please, I can't help them. They know their problem. Plus, I need to add, yeah, I think they need a new coach. I want to say that they actually need a new coach.
Yeah, we'll get to that. We'll get to that. I'll ask you your choice.
I'm even saying it earlier, right? Thank you very much. Okay. Because the two wise men are in the
if no, anybody can take on this one. Although I watched that game, and just like we're talking about behind the scene before we get on stage, and I was talking about Burnley trying to be what they are not. I believe that in that game, Burnley looked very open and too expansive to my liking. I know United are not the best, have not the best of times, but you also know that individually they have players that can punish you on the pitch. Do you think Burnley should have approached that game in a different way, or are you okay with the way they were expansive?
Any Scott Parker team will play expansive football. I'm actually impressed by that because a coach should have an identity. A coach should have a philosophy. We should know how your teams play, and you can't alter from one point to the other. You play completely differently from what you're doing and what you did in your other job. So Scott Parker loves expansive football. The tiki-taka type play, good exchange of passing and all that. He has sworn by it. He's lost jobs. At least I know one that he's lost as Fulham. That was what led him to. But his sites are always watchable, so I'm not surprised that he had that approach.
Yeah, but I think that there's two things. There's a difference between having that identity and being a little bit adaptive. We have seen Pep not win Champions League for years, and the year he won it was the year he decided to be a little bit compact and not be that expansive against what's the name, Real Madrid, and eventually he won the trophy. And that's my point. If you don't know what your emotions are on this argument, I think as a small club or a club that's not really have their footing at the highest level, when you come in, you should respect these big teams and kind of be a little bit compact and play differently, especially when you're playing against the big teams.
Well, you have to look at it from two perspectives. Scott Parker would always be Scott Parker. He would always play expansive football. He would always play his kind of way. I mean, coaches all have their own identity, and I guess their identity and personality is what the owner saw and they decided to
Sign.
hire him to steer the ship. He did a fantastic job in the championship and got them promoted. But unfortunately, he's in the big leagues now, and maybe sometimes those situations may not fly in the Premiership. However, you always have to understand this, that these things happen and they have to learn from it. The problem you're going to have is this: if you look at the game against United, they didn't play really bad. They played well. They gave it a good run. They came back twice. It was just that lack of discipline from that defender that kept on tugging Diallo shirt. My man wasn't even going nowhere. So I don't even know some of these players. I don't even know what gets to them. It's like Jim Benglin said one time. Once the head goes, the leg goes. So maybe it was fatigue. I really don't know because Diallo was not going. If
But
you're even looking
if
at
you
it,
now that you mentioned that, I'll get to boom on it. But I thought that they said that they always call the foul when the first contact was made. The contact on that guy's jersey was outside the box, but he just that he
yes,
held
but
onto it until he got into the box. So why did they
no, but
not
you see,
start?
that's why I'm a better footballer than you. Now listen, the problem the problem is this, yeah. When you look at contact in football, that cannot fly because when you're pulling and tussling, some people are going to muscle you out. So it takes a while for you to stop them. You see what I'm saying? There will always be contact. But when the pull happened, he started pulling him from outside. My man wriggled his way and he continued pulling him and he fell inside the box. So that was a clear penalty. That one
I saw a
I don't
foul,
think
but well, I just let me take another opinion. I don't know what you guys chum out here.
and the law
Ref.
states
Yeah,
the
go
law
ahead.
states even if the foul happens on the line, it still qualifies as being in the box. So that was a clear penalty. The dude lacked discipline. And if I was the coach, Scott Parker, I would have fined him a week's wage. I promise you. That, like, no jokes. That was a horrible thing to concede. You've
It
come
was
back to the
at that
game
time.
twice.
Exactly.
You've come back in the game twice. You're away with
Few
less
minutes.
than 5 minutes
away.
to go. You
Yeah,
know, you're
yeah.
away with less than 5 minutes to go, and you do that. That's selfish. I don't even know how else to put it. My man just thought of only himself. That's so selfish. There was no reason. Sometimes I even think these players are paid to do some of these things, man. There was no reason. Yeah.
Let me
Listen,
ask you, Nimi, are you there?
no, no, but listen
Yeah,
to
I'm,
this,
I'm
yeah.
here.
may I also add to what
All
Ife
right, go
said?
on.
Okay.
The problem there was very smart defenders and experienced defenders would tug at your shirt for not longer than 3 seconds. Yeah, they do it, they leave it. They do it. So holding on to that shirt into the 18-yard box was what caused that problem. If you had just tugged on it for just a couple of seconds and kind of impeded the movement a little bit and then left it, then you wouldn't have been penalized.
Okay, that's fine. So Nimi, let me ask you, I saw Walker on that page. I don't know. I was like, this guy is gone. I don't know. Do you think Walker should? It doesn't belong to this level anymore.
I always tell people, when the ovation is loudest, it's best you quit, you leave the stage. Kyle Walker's it's a situation where the head is willing, but the body is not willing, at this point. He brings experience, but the pace of the game has gone past him. There's a reason why he's at Burnley. I think I suspect that as the season goes on, he wouldn't be, the number one choice starter there, that right back position. And also, I suspect injuries to come too because of his age. As regards the game, I think it was a good game. I think Burnley came in just as everybody has alluded. Scott Parker will live and die with the Scott Parker philosophy. the way he plays football, the expansive way he plays football, and nobody can tell him anything. Even before the season started, there was a Burnley chat group telling him he needs to be a little bit not, all out, but a little bit defensive. And that's not how what Scott Parker does. He believes he could go toe to toe, and I see them getting relegated with this toe to toe pattern. I don't think if he doesn't mellow it down, I don't think they have the legs. I don't think they have the player personnel to still be in the EPL. So they will be one of my favorites for the relegation zone this season.
Yes, that's the same thing he did when he was in Fulham. Like I said, adaptation doesn't mean you jettison your philosophy. It means being a little bit cautious and understanding that there are reasons why Liverpool are champions. You don't go to Anfield, for instance, and say this is how we play. I'm going to play the same way. Yeah, once in a while, I might get away with it, but for the most part, you're always going to suffer. Let's look at what our viewers had seen on the chat session. John says, oh no, Firmino says. Let me go. He said, I think Liam Delap is upgrade to Jackson. Okay, that was about the Jackson thing. And John somebody is asking, why does Iwobi play better in Fulham than in Super Eagles? This is for me. And I don't know if anybody wants to answer that question. Choma, why does your boy Iwobi play better in Fulham than in Super Eagles?
It's the weather. He likes the weather. It's a lovely weather over there. Lovely weather. It's good for his hair. Good for his skin, And this guy, they play his position. He likes playing in that position well. He's not being stressed the way we're stressing when he's down here. He recognizes himself playing in his position.
Okay, thank you. We hear that.
Yes,
John says Burnley made a serious defensive blunder in that match and it cost them the match that day. And Firmino says Walker is getting old, so I think he's playing his last dance. We'll move on to the next game of the weekend. Tottenham at home tested defeat this season against Bournemouth. Bournemouth is a team I have serious affection towards the way they play, the way they carry themselves. They are very pragmatic and also can be expansive when they want to. And they got this surprising result. Everybody, including me, have been heralding Thomas Frank, another coach that I also respect so much of what he has done in EPL. But somehow they were undone by Bournemouth, and there was no way. You're not going to question this win in any way. I don't know, Ugum. This is where it gets interesting for you. I know a lot of Thomas Frank as well, and Beaumont is a team you also have some players there you have interest in. I don't know, how did you see that game?
It was a nice one. It was a good game, and it lived up to expectations in terms of what the coaches bring to the table. Both of them are very good coaches. Iraola had started the season a bit, badly, considering the fact that he lost some really important players. They were able to hold their own almost against, I think it was Liverpool or the first game that they ended up losing,
4-2.
I think.
It was 4-2. You have to score 2 quick goals in the last minutes of the game. Yeah.
Exactly, yeah. So, but he showed, he showed his mettle against Tottenham, and I think he's managed to get in a couple of players that will help him a lot moving forward. So, Bournemouth are formidable. You cannot underrate that team. This season, they're going to continue from where they left last season, and they showed Tottenham that Tottenham have started really well. Hadn't considered a goal up till they faced Bournemouth and ended up losing. So that's the EPL for you. That was a typical EPL game, and I enjoyed it.
Yeah, if you have anything to say on that, this guy Kudus, when that sometimes some of these players are better off playing in smaller teams. I don't think Kudus has really caught the eye since he's moved to Tottenham. He hasn't been bad, but I don't think he has really looked like that player that's going to be a game changer for Tottenham.
No, but there's an issue. There's a tad bit of an issue with Spurs, and I think it's still a Spurs Spurs fan. There's something iffy about Spurs mentality. You cannot the week before beat City, then the following week at home. I watched that game and I was truly disappointed. They had no shot on target in the whole of the first half. I can't understand it. Then I don't know, it might be me or it might be the way I was watching the game. I don't see why Richarlison is starting ahead of Solanke. I don't know what's going on with that one. You
Solanke is
know,
injured. He's injured.
except maybe there's an
No, he's
injury.
not. He played last week. He came in as a
No,
sub
but
as well.
He played last week. He came on as a sub.
Yeah, but he got injured.
In that
He was
game.
on the
Yes.
he was on the bench.
He
He
was on
was
the
on the
bench last
bench.
game too.
He
Yeah,
was
he
on the
didn't play
bench.
Yes,
last game.
Oh,
he was on
one
the
of their fans told me he was injured. Okay, sorry about that.
no, he was on the bench. I saw the starting lineup. He was on the bench. So
Okay.
maybe he's not match fit. Maybe we might have to excuse that one. But regardless, yeah, I don't see why a team like Spurs should go 45 minutes without a shot on target. I don't even know. I cannot explain that one.
Yeah, it don't
Yeah.
make no sense at all.
Now
But if he, sorry, not to cut you off, based on current form, Richarlison is perhaps the most informed player for Tottenham in the first two
I I
games.
I get I
He
get what
scored
you're
two. He
saying.
scored 2 goals. Yes, but
Mhm.
Yes, I get what you're saying. Okay, but what I'm saying is, yeah, yes, he scored those 2 goals. He did the overhead kick in the first game. It was brilliant and all. If you watch against City, he wasn't really effective. Yeah, he showed a little bit of tenacity and that. But if you watch against Bournemouth, he was missing the entire first half. Yeah, there was no hold up play. Now, we really cannot come at Kudus for the simple fact that it's only 3 games into the season. The first game, the first 2 games, he played really well. The first 2 games against City, he was magnificent too. He had 2 assists in that game, if you remember. But for Bournemouth the other day, I guess we just have to put it like an off day for the team. They were lethargic in all departments. I was disappointed in my Uruguayan player Bentancur. He really didn't even put no feet forward. Papisa was absent. Um, Even when they brought in that promising young one, Beg, whatever his name was, they didn't do nothing. Kudus was missing. Richarlison was missing. The usually effective Johnson on the other ends was also missing. So we might just have to maybe wait and see where Spurs
yeah, yeah,
goes after.
yeah, we look at it tactically. Like if you mentioned Jallison there, one of the notes I made while watching that game was the quality of his runs. The guy doesn't make quality runs. He reminds me of, I know we're going to get to the team Martinelli these days, because sometimes the way you make your runs, compels your midfielder or the player on the ball to put the ball where it will be easy for you to score. So, Tomo Frank, so far, like I said, we've been making noise about him at Tottenham the first 2 games of the season. But this one, between him and the player, something was just really off. And this is not going to take anything away from Iraola, who has been consistent,
Okay.
not just this season, but he's been there and doing his thing. If he in Nimi, then Chum, I don't know if you guys want to
I
say
think
anything about this game.
I think I've heard Ify. I think man like Ify, you're very very disrespectful to Beaumont. Beaumont is a very 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 good team, very disciplined. They have a very good coach, and you can't just say because they are Beaumont they go to Tottenham. I think Beaumont even has a better team cohesion, a better tactical manager
Would
than
argue.
Tottenham. Because if you look at Bournemouth, they lost their entire defense line.
Yeah, plus the goalkeeper.
The goalkeeper is still part of they lost their
Yeah,
whole entire defense line. And guess what clubs came for this defense line? They had Liverpool, we
Real
had
Madrid
PSG, and we had Real Madrid
and Arsenal.
and Arsenal. Come for those people. These are not so they see there's something. Areola is doing, and you can't just look at. For me, if they stay healthy, you saw the game they played against Liverpool. If they stay healthy, Bournemouth should be a top 7 team in the EPL. Unfortunately, Bournemouth, they have owners that don't back the manager that much with high splash and purchases. And let's not forget, they lost Ouattara to Brentford, their highest goal scorer, the guy from Burkina Faso.
Yeah.
They lost him to Brentford. That's a good striker. So they've been able, Ivan Elson is a very good player. They've been able to, the good thing about it, they have a good recruiting strategy where they don't have to go buy. They're just like Brentford. They discover these players, bring them in because they have a coach that's flexible. And let's go to the point you said, Richarlison. Solanke, again, Richarlison gives you more. If you watch football, he gives you more than what Solanke will give you. Why do I say so? Solanke is a target point number 9, point man 9. You watch Richarlison, he could be that guy, he floats in between the striker. He makes those defenders not know where he's going. He goes left, goes right, he drops deep. He's more of a team player. Let's not forget, Solanke had an injury. He's coming back. He missed their preseason. He's not match
and he's actually injured now. You are correct. He has an ankle.
He has an ankle. You don't, even when he's totally fit. Again, let's not forget, Solanke came from the Royal School of Football. He came from what club? Bournemouth. So all I'm saying is, Ify, you have to, start showing respect where respect is due. Bournemouth is not a Houston Green Eagles team, or anything. This is a good team. So let's give them some.
No, but you're missing my point. You're absolutely missing my point.
Honestly, one thing we can agree with here is that Tottenham were never in control of that game, and maybe by the balance of play, but Bournemouth deserved to go away with 3 points in that game.
No, but there's something. Hold on.
Can I?
There's something. Hold on, Obum. There's something you're missing. Yeah. The problem is when you look at Beaumont, I hear what my man said. I hear what Nimi said. Yeah, his points are valid, no doubt. But you're missing something. Yeah, which is a bigger team, Bournemouth or Spurs? Who has spent more?
Which is it? But the question the thing you are missing is, being a bigger team is superficial. Are you talking about the history?
Exactly,
History does not play. Who is a bigger team? Which a bigger team?
Okay.
Brentford or Sunderland?
No, we're not.
No, I'm just asking you.
Brentford.
Why is Brentford a bigger team?
Because they've been consistent in the Premiership in the last 5 years.
But guess what? In terms of history, Sunderland has more history. Sunderland spent more money than them.
They spent more money
than them this season.
Okay.
And so that is
all right. Okay.
Not,
so okay. Now, if you're going by that dynamics, yeah, you have a valid point. My point.
Just not a competition. Just to go back to your point to tell you you're wrong. Which is a bigger team? Last season, Tottenham finished 17th. Last season, Brentford was in the top 10. So let's lay that to rest. Which is
okay? Now
team?
let me ask you. Last season, United finished 15th or 16th. Are they not a big team?
Oh no, that's what I'm trying to tell you.
Okay.
Based on paper, it's superficial. It doesn't mean because you're a big team.
Let me come back to what I was trying to say. Yeah. I rate Areola with what he has done with Bournemouth. Like you said, they lost their back line and all of that. The point that you're missing from what I'm saying is, yeah, if you watch that game, Spurs were home. They had a home crowd advantage, and they did not play particularly well throughout the first half and up until even like 60 minutes in the second half. Another thing, Richarlison that you said was better and made all of those runs did not do nothing.
But Chelsea played Fulham the whole first half. You and I agreed that Chelsea was nowhere to be found. They were played out of the park. Is
Yes.
Chelsea not a bigger team than Fulham? What I'm trying to tell you in soccer,
So
Richarlison may
who got
have
the
a
result?
bad.
Who got the result
No,
though?
no, no,
Who
no,
got
no.
the
But
result?
what I'm saying is in soccer, it is a fluctuating
It's on the
thing.
day,
Osborne,
yeah. On the
on
day,
the
if you're not
day.
ready,
So
you get
so for
undone.
example, I went to play with Houston Green Eagles yesterday. I played like a world champion, right? The next week I go
That's what they
there.
said.
That's what they said. You needed to see me. You needed to see me that day. But next week I could go there and I could flop because it is not. It's a given day as it goes.
Yes.
But you got to look at the whole body of work.
Hey,
Okay.
see, sometimes you gotta be careful when
Okay.
you give people flowers. That Nimi had 100% pass doesn't mean he had a good game. It could be safe passes.
It could
See
just
how
be
he
only
does.
2 passes that he
See
does
how he
that whole
does do us
game.
in this
No, no, no,
English
no, no,
era.
no,
Exactly.
We
no,
can't even
no,
have, we can't even
no.
have this live stream
No,
anymore. Because Nimi came yesterday and we
Yeah.
put him for 10 minutes.
there's a
Come on
reason
now,
Reggie,
we have to be careful with all this
there's a
honor that
reason
you give
Reggie,
people
there's a
sometimes.
reason
SG,
Reggie.
SG. Let's mention the
Well,
SG.
there's a reason, Reggie, you were benched in the first half and I played the whole game. There's a reason why.
He said they benched me. I started the game now. After the first half, you came in as a substitute. I started the game. And when I got tired, I came out and they said told me to go back. And I said, no,
Nimi,
I was done. Because I played on Saturday.
Nimi channeled his inner Caicedo and Partey. I couldn't believe my eyes.
Ugumi is still causing this problem, but
Nah, you're
no
wearing
problem. Let's
Uh,
glasses.
move
You don't
on.
even
Let's
believe
move
your
on.
eyes.
I
You have
was
glasses
I was
on.
I was signing signatures. Oh, you
Let's
need to
let's
see the
move on.
crowd. I was signing
Fabino,
signatures and
Fabino
everything.
said, this is my problem with Tottenham. My very inconsistent. They will start well for you, and at a point they will fail. John said, speaking of
Banana
experience, I
mentality.
prefer
Banana
Solante
mentality,
starting
Tottenham.
compared to Rich Allison. So our fans out there are also torn in between, and they manage their first shot on target at the end of the game. Seems last 10 minutes of the game. Yeah, that's what we're saying. Tottenham was the truth of the matter. Tottenham did not do well yesterday. Over this weekend, they didn't play well. Either they underrated Bournemouth or they were not up for it. And this is what I keep saying. End of the day, this business is a result-based business. You have to, and EPL, if you're not at it on a day, a team will run you over. Chelsea, they're just lucky over the weekend that these guys, Fulham did not take their chance first half. It would have been a different game altogether. So sometimes you just have to be at it from the blast of the whistle. If you don't, things can really get nasty for you. And that's what happened to Tottenham. They never got back into the groove, and they lost that game. So let's move quickly. I know that we've spent some time. Let's talk about Arsenal and Liverpool this weekend. It was obviously going to be the biggest game of the weekend, and Arsenal lost that game to Liverpool 1-0 from a very big and special free kick from Szoboszlai, who I believe was team man of the match for last weekend as well. I don't know, man, like there is a lot of controversy. Okay, let me ask Ugum, I think you're leaving before you leave. There's too much controversy over this game. A lot of people who are anti-Arteta, they believe Arsenal didn't play well. A lot of people are saying that he did what he was supposed to do. I don't know where you stand on this spectrum. How did you see the game?
Well, I saw the game as a very good game of two teams that are going for the league title, and different coaches have their different approaches to games. Well, Atata, prior to this game, I think I got gone over 800 and something days without any loss against any of the top six teams, regular traditional top
Yeah, I
six
think we're
teams.
about 22 fixtures, 23 fixtures.
Yes. So that was largely due to defensive solidity more than any other thing. It's something that Arteta prefers to build his teams and get them to a point where they are defensively solid. Many people would see him as a conservative coach that would rather go defense first before anything else. But that's the reason that he's been able to establish his team prior to him coming to us now. We are the laughing stock. I know how I felt whenever we needed to meet either any of the traditional top teams. You almost count it as a loss already, especially away. right? So under Arteta, he's been able to improve the spine of the team and be pragmatic to a certain. If I don't know why you're laughing, what have I said now that makes you laugh? If you just
Please
tell me.
continue with your
No,
speech,
no,
your
no.
innovative speech. Why are you looking at his face? If
Just
he
tell
has the
me.
right to express himself on his face,
So that's but I'm asking him. Let him tell me what exactly I've said now.
now you where
That's
they do
that's
motivational speaking.
laughable. That's
Motivational
laughable.
speaking amuses
If you
Ife.
tell me
So
why you're laughing.
By your motivational speaking.
one of the best coaches that Chelsea has had is Jose Mourinho, and I remember Mourinho when he was in EPL, the way he won leagues and trophies for Chelsea was most of the time when he goes away to his real rivals in the league, he tries to get a draw. Then when he comes home, he tries to win these things, and that's how he won leagues for a few years in Chelsea.
Welcome formats now.
So where are you on this argument? Do you think Arteta should have opened up more at Anfield, or did he go with the right approach?
Opened up well.
Well, first things first, I'm already happy that humans lost because humans are thinking you guys are about that and you're about to take over the league and that. So I'm grateful that humans took that L and you took that
It's all
humble
in your minds, yo. It's all in
and
your mind, yo.
and you took that humble part. But
It's in your
that being
mind.
said, there were a few things Obum said that I kind of disagreed, when you're claiming like your top club, yeah, I mean it's football. At the end of the day, anything can change the game. It was a beautiful goal. Yeah. I think for a while, Arsenal stood toe to toe with Liverpool for a while. Could there have been anything Arteta could have done better? Yes. I don't know. See, some of these coaches, they do my head in, You have Eze. Why is Eze on the bench? In that kind of game. Yeah. Kanute. I don't rate Kanute as a top defender.
I don't
He's
either.
he's so error prone. Yeah. And Kanute was able to pocket VG from Sweden that shoots guns. What's that song you man's always?
He did
you know,
pockets. Who did
uh,
Konate pockets?
he pocketed
Legs gave
VG.
out.
Well, you
His
talking
Yeah,
legs
about
gave
if you what
out.
are you
His
talking
legs
about?
gave out. He didn't pocket
If you what are you
anybody.
talking
Was
about?
it in the
he
same
kept
game
him in
that
his
his
okay.
If
How
legs
many
gave
how many
out?
shots? What did VG do in that game? The
if
whole time he was on
you
that field, what did he
what
do?
the
Very
what
bad.
the Ekitike do? It was a defensive massacre from
Ekete
both
was
teams.
frustrated.
From both
Frustration
teams. So you
wanted to
don't
kill that fine
don't
boy.
put it
No, no, no.
on
Ekitike did a whole lot because they had to take off Saliba, so something happened
What
there.
game? Excuse me.
He
What
missed
game did
minutes.
you watch?
He
Saliba
did
twisted his ankle in the warm-up. He wasn't supposed to start at all. They were supposed to start, but he said he was going to start. He started in 5 minutes into the game.
Reggie,
He
please.
couldn't
I want to
complete.
address some issues. I want to address some
all right.
issues.
Okay.
Okay,
Please let
go
me
ahead.
address some issues, please.
Go ahead.
Number one issue is that Konate is one of the he's not defender enough for the work that Liverpool needs
Yes,
to be
I agree
able
on
to
that one.
do. I agree, but he didn't pocket anybody. And I'm not just trying to be such an Arsenal fan. His legs gave out, which you saw. He kept running like the giant he is. Okay, but I didn't see him pocket anybody. He was stressed.
Okay.
He was stressed out for as long as he was in the
Okay.
game. Nate did not pocket anybody. And let's talk about Hugo. Hugo was frustrated. Like
Wait,
how many minutes he was in
did you
that game?
see
Hugo could
did you see
not.
the rating?
Hugo did not trap any. You see, that's the thing. Any small thing I go, they ask rating and this thing, SGA,
Did you not? I'm
SGB.
asking, there's
No,
a reason why.
listen. If you wait now. Hugo did not
Okay.
trap all the long balls that were given to him. He was always late. He was frustrated, and I was so happy that he ended up getting frustrated. Let's talk about Salah. I understand the fact that it's always the goal that separates, this kind of game. But I promise you, I agree that Martinelli had no business. Martinelli had no business coming back in the second half. Martinelli, Merino, they did not have any business coming in the second half. I know some people would argue that Captain Fantastic was not feeling too well, but at least he came in. That's my argument, okay? This is me trying to tell you what I think. But did Liverpool that game? No, they didn't. The only way they could make that game about themselves was what they did. Okay? For everything they played for 90 minutes, whatever they played from 70 minutes was not anything anybody should. So when people talk about Arsenal claiming, we don't claim, we are. We are becoming, and that's what you're saying. We used to bother people about the process, watch the process. Yes, I did not agree with the lineup Arteta came into that game with, but he thought it was going to work for him because he was going to use the boss approach. And everybody who watches football knows that Arsenal in the midfield and the defense, we've got that sorted. Yeah, and arguably, I preferred Madueke to Martinelli in that game because I felt like he had more to offer me. So that's what I think.
Ogum, there was another big argument by Arsenal fans, the Arteta out people, who are saying, why did Arteta bring in Max Dorman as a 15-year-old into a big of that magnitude? I don't know. Where do you stand on that argument?
Yeah, I hadn't actually landed.
No?
Okay,
I hadn't actually landed on my first point. I was asking if you a question.
Okay, finish.
When you
and
guys
then touch Dorman on it.
when you guys said so, if you haven't given me a proper answer to my question, so now when you start laughing,
Chairman, you know how you Arsenal fans are. It's like once they put a little heat, you might just go shooting blanks.
So the answer to my first question was I thought the manager, I like his approach to the game. Yes, sometimes when you approach a game in a way, the result will justify, the end will justify the means, right? If it works for you and you win, you get all the accolades in the world. If it doesn't work and you lose, then whatever you get, you take. So this is one of those types of games, and the way he approached it worked up until that free kick, where a moment of genius decided the game. And so nobody cares about the moment of genius. Nobody cares about what happened during the game. The end of it is what you lost. Lost, it means you become the most negative manager ever. And so I thought I would take it. I take it with a pinch of salt. I like his approach to the game. I would have taken a draw, and I said, okay, that's fine. Let's keep moving. But we lost the game. You take the L, like if he said. Then for Dalman, I like the fact that he brought Dalman in, right? Young man had been a key player for Arsenal so far since preseason up until that game. I don't see why he should have kept that boy on the bench. Actually, I would have preferred if he had brought him in a bit earlier, maybe 5-10 minutes earlier, giving him more time to put some pressure on that defense. On that note, I will also commend Kirkers. Kirkers was incredible. He held his own against Madueke, who was one of the best players for Arsenal, perhaps the best offensively in the first half. He held his own against him, and then brought in Dalman. Dalman couldn't get past him even once, and Dalman is a very good dribbler. So yeah, the people calling for Arteta's head, I cannot stand them. I just ignore them. That's what I've chosen to do. I don't watch their videos. I don't really pay attention to them because I think those are just time wasters. People will say whatever they want. In fact, there was one post I read. Oh my God. I shut down that channel and moved on. Somebody has said that Arteta is going all over the place, saying, I'm feeling like he's better than Pep, better than Klopp, better than... I said, where did Arteta, since you started listening to him, where did he ever say that he's better than Pep? Where did he ever insinuate that he's better than Pep? People just form theories in their heads and they carry it all over the place.
Just trying to get...
just trying to justify their stuff.
But Chama, just like Ugum said, another argument people were saying about Max Dorman was because that they had Nwaneri on the bench. Would you have rather brought in Nwaneri or Max Dorman, or would you have found a way to give Nwaneri, like Ugum mentioned, maybe the subs came a little bit. This is something I thought Arteta has improved on lately, but in that game, He didn't make his first sub apart from Saliba till around the 70th or 75th minute, and probably was a little bit too late to really have a foothold on that game. I don't know what you felt about Max Dorman versus Waneri on the pitch.
Be like say some Arsenal fans, they piss me off, they just piss me off. They just start a discourse, that just worries me. The intensity and where we were at in that game. I love Wanere. Of course, we all love him. We know the role he plays. But we needed something quick to be done. We needed a worry. We needed a distraction. We needed somebody who was going to upset. Because that minute that he brought in that boy, he needed an upset. He was thinking there will be an upset and then there will be a goal or a corner or something. Do you understand? He needed somebody to make something work. I'm not saying Wanemi doesn't do this. I think people need to learn how to read the game, some Arsenal fans. Do you understand? Like, okay, I need to also clear something. I need to clear something. If he would allow me to rest. See, I need to clear something there. Arteta is my guy. I like him. I've always liked him from when he was my captain until now. You see, I am not among the people that will say bring his head, just to cut off his head. No, I'm not about that. But I am still bent on this Martinelli thing. We watched the same game, Reggie. I did not think that Martinelli should have been in that game. Up until that minute.
Yeah, my response to that is, like you said earlier on, probably should have been solved earlier. But if you go by the history and his history at Anfield and Liverpool as a whole, as a team, he always does well against Liverpool.
No, but you see,
so maybe, and if you remember last week, you were not here. If you remember last week, he didn't play even a minute. I said it looks like he was keeping him for the Liverpool game. But I know the day, like if you mentioned earlier on, coaches do this thing and the players fall your hand. What will you do? But maybe
it's not so long. Let me explain something.
Who needs to go? But there's something I want to ask a question, please. I want to ask us.
Even I need to go. I need to go.
Exactly. So let's
make one go. Reggie, let's battle.
First of all, before I go to the question, I want to ask you guys about the surprise result of the weekend. That's the last phase before we close. But before we go to that, please 5 minutes. One guy, I interviewed a fan after that game, and he said something, and I was looking at him, I'm like you guys know, I'm like, why are people reasoning? He said, I'm not Ateta out or anything. I really think Ateta is a good coach, this, that, but it looks like he can't get a team over the line. So I asked him a question. I said, okay, let's assume he gets to that point, and I ask you are the CEO of Arsenal, to take Ateta out. Which manager right now will you hire to take over from Ateta? And the guy gave me a very interesting response. He said, I'm not saying he's better than Ateta. Maybe says Fabregas. I was like, okay. So I asked him why. He said, yeah, Fabregas has played with the biggest players on this planet as a player. He won the big trophies. He won World Cup, he won Champions League and this and that. And so I don't know. I know that it's not everything that you have to react to, but how do you react to that?
Honestly, it's not unthinkable.
Yeah, it's
it's not unthinkable because I rate Cesc Fabregas
as a coach. What he's doing in Como.
Yes, I rate him as a coach. I mean, this guy, Inter Milan did all they could to snatch Fabregas and make him their
Como,
coach.
yes.
The club president refused. They did everything possible. They begged Cesc Fabregas. They did everything, and they were able to retain him. For a team like Inter Milan to be willing to do everything possible to bring him as their coach will tell you something, right? So Arteta has my 100% support. I'm looking at him this season. We'll see how this season goes. I believe he will win trophies, 100%, right? So I'm not in that category where, let's wait. If he doesn't, when we get to that, we'll have that conversation.
Exactly. I
don't want to indulge in that, but when it comes to that, Fabregas would actually be one of my favorites. Really.
To take over.
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
So we have three surprise. Okay, before we go to that, please, guys, give me 1 second. Let me read comments from our guys. Firmino says, for me, Arsenal are a little bit unlucky for years. They look very sharp now. There is no excuse this time around. He also said, Hugo Ekitike was kind for certain most of the time. We are off the ball. Zobi controlled that midfield. what a gem. And Femino is a Liverpool fan. You guys know. John says, wow, see honest confession from a Liverpool fan. So let me ask you guys, Brighton at home beat City 2-1. Aston Villa lost 3-0 to Crystal Palace at home. And Forest lost at home to West Ham, who have been very abysmal this season. Which of these results for you guys do you think was a bigger or the biggest surprise?
My biggest surprise, actually, let me answer first, is Bournemouth beating Tottenham 2-0. Was it 2-0 or 1-0?
1-0.
Bournemouth beating Tottenham 1-0 at Tottenham, right? Was my biggest surprise. The other ones were surprises, but yeah, I would take what as my biggest surprise. Because Tottenham on current form hadn't conceded a goal, hadn't lost the game. We're looking really, really impressive. And for Bournemouth to have come and beaten them the way they beat them was commendable. Crystal Palace, of course, have been in great form. Which other one?
Forest lost 3-0 to West Ham.
West Ham.
Yeah, that was also a surprise because West Ham have been in bad form, right? Really bad.
Yeah,
form.
that's because Bournemouth. I mean, Bournemouth is a team that we know they can do things. They do know what they did to Liverpool. But if you don't know, which one was your biggest surprise result of the weekend? City losing to Brighton, Aston Villa losing 3-0 to Crystal Palace, or West Ham beating Nottingham Forest 3-0 at home?
They were all shocking. They were all brilliant. It's why we love the game. But if you look at it in totality, the most shocking one will have to be City, in my opinion. And here's why. The rest of the games, yeah, the away team won clearly, but City were up. City really played well in the first half, took the lead. For some reason, Haaland should have had at least a brace. Should have had at least a brace before the interval. Yeah, I watched that game, and from there it just tanked. I don't know. The moment Hotsola brought in his four horsemen, they just came. Jorginho Reuter. The moment Jorginho Reuter came in, it was like a different breed. They just out-muscled, outplayed them in the middle of the pack. And I've said this before. I am worried for City. I truly am.
No, I've been worried for them since last season.
I
I've been saying it for over a season now, but people say you're beefing.
And here's why I'm worried for City. This may be harsh, yeah, but I think it's time for Pep to sit out. I really do. You know, this may be harsh, and during the course of the season, this will either be an "I told you so" or I'll take my L. But for right now, it's looking like yes. I'll be honest with you. It's looking like an "I told you so" moment, and here's why. You look at City bench, yeah. You look at the defenders he put on the bench. You have experienced defenders on the bench. Sometimes these coaches they be overthinking and tinkering with the squad, and when he works, it works well. They look brilliant. We rave about them. We call them all sorts of geniuses and all of that. But sometimes simplicity is still the best solution.
Exactly.
How can you have Akanji, Nathan Ake, and what's the name of that last one? The Spanish one. Diaz. How can you have those kind of defenders with premiership experience, years playing together on the bench, and you start a backline that have barely played together? You know, when I was watching it, I was hoping it don't backfire at them. But if you look at the goals, they were sleeping. It was an easy pass. Man, Reuter just did them dirty. It was an easy pass because they like.
Akanji eventually went on loan. I think maybe.
I know. He went on loan in Italy. I know he went on loan.
Maybe that's why I didn't want to play him on the game.
But the problem is, yeah, like Roy Keane once said, and this is going back to humans Arsenal because Onana let me talk. You know, like Roy Keane once said, when you have your best players, if they're fit enough to be on the bench,
play them.
I don't see why they're not starting. If they're fit enough to make the 22-man squad, game day squad, I don't see why they're not starting. I'm saying this because I'm going back to the
Martinelli, Odegaard, Eze,
and Moreno and Odegaard situation, and Eze and Martinelli. I don't see why you're keeping your best player, your captain too, on the bench. If he's fit to make that bench, he should start that game. I would have had him start, then bring him off maybe during the 60-minute mark or 70-minute mark. Do you get what I'm saying? Sometimes it takes a while for these players to gel. If I'm sitting on the bench and I'm coming into a game and the game is 70 minutes gone, I have only 20 minutes. So sometimes some things may not happen. Do you get what I'm saying? So sometimes the coaches also wait too late. There was no reason in that kind of game for Martinelli to start ahead of Eze. Okay, fair enough. Martinelli started. Around the 50th mark, you bring him off.
Yeah, hook him off. Yeah, for me, it took too long
Around the 50th mark, you hook him off. Yeah. Now, the reason I'm laughing at Arsenal is this. Yeah. If you watch that game, you must had a lot of possession in that game. At some point, humans took over that midfield. You took over that midfield from Gravenberch, McAllister, and Curtis Jones, and Florian Wirtz. If you remember, they held up Wirtz and brought in Curtis Jones. Do you see what I'm saying? So explain. That's why, Arteta is not he's not a bad manager. He's not top tier. I've said this before. Yeah. You might win some cups here and there, but Arteta cannot give you that premiership. I can put it on everything I like, which is not a lot, really.
Okay, like you said, sometimes it might be I tell you so, or you take your
L. You get what I'm saying?
For me, the surprise. Sorry to call you. The surprise result for me for this weekend was West Ham away to Forest. Forest is the same coach. I know they lost a few players this summer, but they are still a formidable team. And
the problem is
the thing that shocked me most was that West Ham got these 3 goals 10 minutes to the end of the game. West Ham doesn't stay in games in the first place. They are not a team that stays in games. Though they gave away chances to Forest, they refused to take them. But still, for them to come with this abysmal performance to start the season that they've had so far and put 3 past Nottingham Forest. I know they're having their issues with the manager and the owner of the club, but still, West Ham scoring 3 for me was shocking. Brighton against City. We always know that Brighton gives big teams problem. As a matter of fact, in their last 6, they've won 2 and City won 3 and 1 was dropped before this game. So them beating City for me wasn't a big deal. Tottenham losing 1-0 to Bournemouth. I've said it before. Bournemouth is not a team that I will underrate. As a matter of fact, if not for history, those 2 teams are not far apart in terms of where they are, in terms of the quality of play. How they've been playing the last 2-3 seasons. Honestly, forget about
one is a European champion. You remember the one half trophy that Arsenal don't have.
In the same season, Tottenham was going to be relegated. If the 3 teams that relegated kind of won 2 more games, Tottenham will be in championship this season. So that's a trophy. You just say something here now. We'll go iffy. Let's be consistent. You said Arteta is not a top coach. He might win 1 or 2 cup trophies here and there, but he cannot win EPL. What does that mean?
I didn't say he's not a top coach. I said
he said he's a good man, but he's not a top tier. And you say that he can never win EPL, but he can win 1 or 2 trophies for Arsenal. So if somebody wins Conference League or Europa League and goes 17th or 18th on on the league table, it qualifies what you just said, because league is week in, week out. That's how we know your quality. And then footballers and managers will tell you that it's the hardest thing to do. Every week you come out and do the same thing. So Bournemouth have been consistent in EPL for the past 2-3 seasons.
But you forget something though.
Yeah.
But you forget something. You have to qualify to play in those tournaments. You have to, your form in the league the previous season is what gets you into the either Champions League, Europa, or Conference. So you still have to give Postecoglou credit for getting them there and putting them in that position to win. So that comparison.
No, I'm not taking any. Remember what I said? I said based on their form in the league in the past 3 seasons, there is no much differentiating two of them. That's what I said. I'm not saying Bournemouth better than Tottenham, but I'm saying if you take what they have done in the league the last 2-3 seasons, you will not say you're surprised that Tottenham, that Bournemouth beat Tottenham. That's my point. I'm not saying they are better.
I would.
Another result that surprised me, or maybe based on the hype as well, is Aston Villa losing 3-0 to Crystal Palace at home. Emery is a manager a lot of people think is better than Arteta. And he has signed players in Aston Villa. He has been a very stable team. This is a team that people believe should be in top 4. In fact, last season, people were predicting that he would make top 4 and Arsenal would make top 4 last season. So
yes, but you know, with this with people, they have a fickle mind. You have to also look at the financial capabilities of both clubs. You can't compare Villa and Arsenal. Do you see what I'm saying? Is Unai Emery a good manager? I think he's a good manager.
Yeah,
he's won trophies in Spain. He's won trophies in France. He's a good manager, but the opposition level, and don't forget, he also coached Arsenal for a couple of years, isn't it? But when you look at the quality of the two teams, Arsenal is a bigger club with a bigger finance than Villa. That would always tell. Also, we're only 3 games into the season.
Into the season, of course. It's still early. But I mean, we're looking at the results for the weekend. We're not looking at the entire season. So
why that Bournemouth one? I repeat, why that Bournemouth one is not shocking for me is this.
Yeah, it's not. I said the same thing. I said it's not shocking.
It's not shocking. It's not shocking for me for a number of reasons. Yeah. Like you said, if you don't come at the game right, like they always teach us, if you fail to prepare to fail. Do you get what I'm saying? So I guess Tottenham didn't come with the right mentality in that game.
Exactly.
And it was one goal.
They were undone.
One goal. Yes, they were undone by one goal and all of that. But that was not shocking. That one to me can always happen to big teams. Over the course of this season, we will have bare games like that. Why the City one is shocking for me the most is this. They already lost to Spurs the week before. They come into this game, and that's been a pattern. Yeah, that's been a pattern.
As a matter of fact, I saw something. The same first three games of last season are the same 3 first games this season for City. They beat Wolves first game. They lost to who beat them last week?
Brighton.
Tottenham.
Brighton.
And the third game, they lost to Brighton. The same result. I think somebody sent that, but I haven't checked. I don't know if it's true. I don't know if you have checked that. Is that true?
No, but the thing is, I didn't see it. The thing is this, Even that doesn't bother me. Here's what bothers me. Why I told you, I think it's time for Pep to go. His mind, I believe his mind is no longer there. Do you get what I'm saying? I believe his personal life has encroached on his football life. And in situations like this, sometimes it's best to just walk out. Now, if you look at City, and I'm criticizing them from last season up until now, the inconsistencies have just been alarming. The decision makings from him is also shocking. Bernardo Silva went missing in that game. The one that they're raving about, the Dutch one, Reinders, I didn't see nothing he did. Then I come back to the back four. I don't see nothing they did. It's incredulous to believe that a team like City, Brighton are outmanning them, out-muscling them with the ball. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, like you said, there have been so many
So
things. I've been talking about it again as well since last season. And there are some things I saw. Pep used to tell us that if a player wants to leave, he doesn't waste time, he let them go. Bernardo Silva, every summer we hear he's leaving. Somehow they've been begging that guy to stay. And I think he's spent now. I don't think he really has that. I look at Rodri. I know the excuses that he had ACL. We all know that it takes time to come back from an ACL. But if you look at his facial expression, his body language, it looks like he doesn't want to be there. It looks like he's done with
no,
it.
but the thing is, but
And don't forget that I think Real Madrid, they're trying to go for him over the earlier in the summer. And
but it's not only him. You look at the
no,
whole.
that's what I'm saying. I'm trying to do numbers. Then you talk about their captain that went to Barcelona. Is unthinkable for Pep to bring him back after a season. So there are so many things that you look at. You look there now. Pep has gone for Donnarumma. We know that Pep always the first thing that he did when he came to City was to discharge Joe Hart
Joe Hart.
because he's not a model of goalkeeper that he uses. And Donnarumma, as far as I'm concerned, is not even one of the top 10 goalkeepers with his feet. Yeah, he's a good shotstopper, but the way Pep likes to play. So now you're kind of confused. Is Pep moving away from his normal model, or he's just confused? So there are so many questions begging for answers when it comes to City. I know Ubu might want to answer few of them before we round up and move on. And guys, I think we should do tomorrow for the transfer because it was a mad deadline day. We can't just scratch it in a few minutes and go. Maybe tomorrow we'll come back here and do a full session on the transfers for this summer. Anything on City before we move?
Yeah. Maybe getting. Hear me?
Yeah.
Hello?
Yeah, we can hear
Yeah,
you.
I like the idea of analyzing the transfer window. You can get the list of all the players for each club and that came in and all that. So it would be nice to talk about that. As for City, yes, I agree. I agree with what a man like Ify said. Pep looks spent, looks tired, looks unmotivated, looks like he's stressed out. The body language isn't good at all, and I think it's also showing in the team. The decision making. I think that I've always been of the opinion that if you have a generation of players or a squad of players that wins you trophies, please hold on to them for as long as possible. Don't think you can discard champions and winners and replace them with players that are not winners or that haven't won before, and they would automatically translate to trophies. That's not possible from what I've seen. So he had a collection of players that really won trophies for him. And I think Pep is the kind of man that feels that he can replace any player anytime he wants with just anyone he chooses. So that hasn't worked out at all. I also want to put it on record that today, I think today is the 3rd of September or 3rd of September, I believe, right? 2nd of September. That if he said that Arteta is not a top coach, number one, number two, that he's not capable of winning the EPL with the league.
Yes.
With
Yes.
So when it happens, we don't want any.
No, but you know what he said. You know what he said. He already said that statements like that. Either you take your L when it happens, or it will become and I told you so. So
I trust him.
prepared for
he's a man. He's a man. He will take his L when it happens.
Yeah, I'll keep it moving.
Yeah.
Wait, let me ask you something. I keep on asking you guys this thing, and you must are systematically and like transit TV specialists dodging this question. What happens come May? Arteta doesn't win the league. What happens? Would he be classified as a failure?
Let me answer you.
Let me finish. Will he be classified as a failure, or will it be time for him to step aside?
I would say there are factors that we'll have to see. When I say you wait till then, no, give me this question again next May. I'll answer it categorically. You know, you cannot ask me questions when I don't know if. Let's say, for example, let's say, for example, he loses most of his first team for 4 or 5 months of the season, and he doesn't get to win the league. Of course, there are mitigating circumstances you can say he's not a failure for, right? I won't describe him as a failure if that kind of thing happens. And so, when we get to that point, again, that's not dodging the question. That's saying, ask me later. Ask me at the right time. Right?
Okay.
So
this is
that's
what we
my
do.
answer to that.
This is what we do. Today is September the 2nd or September
But
the 3rd, right?
You
okay,
have come out without any mitigating
if,
circumstances and declared categorically that the guy cannot win. You said it, no matter the circumstance and all that.
He can
it's a
win.
different matter altogether. Okay.
Okay. If you put the question to you, if Maresca doesn't make top 3 this season, will he be fired?
Oh yeah, he should be gone real quick. We Chelsea, we don't play.
Okay.
we don't do all of that dilly-dallying around, my boy.
Okay, so let's take a few chats and we round it off. Firmino said Pep era has ended. He should respect himself and go on sabbatical. Club did. John says Aston Villa is really struggling this season. Yeah, thank you guys. Man, like if he, as usual, it's always fun to have you on the show. We end it here today and we'll come again tomorrow, like I said. Man, like if you are rapping Chelsea right there. Tomorrow, please prepare and get ready. We're going to look at there are so much movements this summer in terms of transfers. So we're going to look at that tomorrow and the ins and outgoings from clubs who got the better summer and all that. And we also see some rumors out there, Chelsea looking like they're doing some shady things with Strasbourg, one of their small clubs. We'll look at all that tomorrow. And we will see you guys